Hello again, everybody. It's AM22 bringing you some CPL content for the first time today. Now, if you don't know what that is, the CPL is the Cow Pokemon League, Berkeley's very own draft league. Now, this is something I've wanted for a really long time, and thanks to the efforts of a few of my friends, that has finally been realized.
So I realized it would be a good idea to include a general description of what Draft League is for people who may not be familiar. Basically, you can just think of this as like a sports league, but with Pokemon. Um, so kind of like fantasy football, but instead of drafting players, you are drafting Pokemon. So basically, you have your coaches or players who are taking turns drafting 9 to 11 Pokemon. And generally, these Pokemon are divided into point tiers based on how strong they usually are in the format. And for our league, we gave the coaches 115 points in order to pick the Pokemon that they want. And once a Pokemon is picked, no other coach can draft that Pokemon. Throughout the season, coaches will have 5 free agent picks where they can drop a Pokemon and pick up another one from the undrafted pool. And yeah, basically each week, the coaches will battle one of the other teams using only Pokemon from the 9 to 11 that they drafted. So they choose 6 to bring based on the matchup. And yeah, and the opponent can also only use Pokemon from their pool, which means that any particular coach and their opponent both know which Pokemon can be brought. So this gives a lot of opportunity for counter teaming and mind games, which is what makes the format so fun. And each season is split into 8 weeks, at the end of which the teams with the best records will fight for the championship in playoffs. That is basically the gist of our league.
Now, I'm not playing in this league, but I am the analyst. So we just finished our draft. I'm going to go ahead and talk about these, I guess, like in a non-scripted fashion. So let's just get right into it. Now, the first coach we have in our league is Kyra coaching the Volc-Aronas. I like the team name a lot. The logo is very nice. Now, if I were to describe Kyra, I would say that she is a very earnest trainer. You know, she comes in here and she tries to do her best to learn and get better at the game, and that's something that I can really appreciate. If we were to take a look at the draft over here, we can see that she has grabbed some very powerful Pokemon. You got the first 3 of Weavile, Gliscor, and Volcarona, as well as the Rillaboom, which she got from the Grace Period trade. Now, I would say that overall this team is pretty good, but there are some very key weaknesses that mostly have to do with the Togedemaru pick. I would say that usually, in a draft you want a solid steel type, but Togedemaru is like it's 3 points and it kind of has to take all that pressure, and I'm not sure if Togedemaru is up to the task. But I guess we'll see that later on in the season. But besides that, I mean, this is a very threatening draft. You have Weavile, which can, is always going to be threatening with its 125 speed stat. It can run setup, it can run band, and you have Gliscor, a real team player right here, Now that he's got spikes, he can go ahead, set them up, get a slow pivot out into one of the more threatening Pokemon, and yeah, just support the team really well. And not to mention, it can also sweep itself. This Pokemon is very potent. And of course, you got Volc-Arona, the mascot pick. This Pokemon, you know, it's like very classic. It's known to just like get a quiver dance up and completely blow through the opposing team. In draft format where you know it's coming, maybe it's a little less threatening as a sweeper, but also, you know, Volc-Arona can work as a team player as well. You slap on heavy duty boots, you give it the U-turn and the roost. You know, all of a sudden, this Pokemon might be switching into moves that threaten now some of the other Pokemon like Weavile. You know, you got a strong fighting type, you go into Volc-Arona, you get the Flame Body, some nice synergy over there. Yeah, I mean, and then you got Rillaboom, Hawlucha, classic core. You U-turn out, get the Grassy Seed. All of a sudden, your team's about to be sweeped. And of course, you got the Teleport with Slowking. You got some nice rocks and Diancie. You know, since Gliscor might want to run some spikes, you know, you don't always want to put rocks on that. Diancie is very nice as a backup rocker. I like this pick. Something I found very interesting was the Venusaur Mega. Now, Venusaur is kind of an interesting player. Back in the day, is very dominating. You know, just having Sludge Bomb, HP Fire, Leech Seed, not much could break it at all, not much. But nowadays, I think it might have been getting a little power crept. It did get some new fun tools like Earth Power, but yeah, we'll see if Venusaur holds up. Now, actually, I do have Kyra with me today right here. So, Kyra, you want to say a few words about your team?
Sure, I can say a few words. Okay, so I mean, I went, favorites first. That's what that's what Karen says. You try to win with your favorites. So, Weavile, I still Volc-Arona.
Yeah,
and I guess it's kind of, then I'm like, okay, then there are a bunch of holes. Oh wait, I also drafted Gastrodon, but then that's what I traded for Rillaboom.
Right. Alright, yeah, one thing I wanted to ask you, you had the first overall pick of the draft. And with that first pick, you got Weavile. Very threatening in its own right, but what made you choose it over any of the other Pokemon?
Well, yeah, because it's powerful. I feel like, since it's a snake draft, it's like there would be plenty of chances for it to get taken by the time it came back around to me, and yeah, I'm glad I picked it, because I think my next pick was actually Ferrothorn, and just 2 steps away from my turn. In that side.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Wanting to secure the powerful Pokemon early. Yeah, overall it's a great draft. I'm going to go ahead and actually open like a Google Docs or something, just so I can keep track of the team so far. Yeah, so I guess this is my impromptu power rankings. First of all, we have the Volc-Aronas, because that's the only team. But next, we're going to move on to, you know who he is. It's the 2-time OSCE Conference winner, misspeller of names. It is JS King Boo with the Soyattlers. Now this draft is, I'm going to be honest, this draft is a complete mess, man. It's just like a bunch of broken Pokemon slapped together. I believe, yeah, we'll get to hear from JS a little later, but I believe he said his drafting strategy was just to draft all the broken Pokemon so that he doesn't have to fight them. But yeah, he has the Darmanitan Galar, which has been banned in standard play. Very, very powerful Pokemon. It has a choice band built into it. You can see right here. With the Guerrilla Tactics, it does have an automatic choice band, and on top of that you can add another choice band, or you can run the choice scarf. This Pokemon, you know, it's going to be forcing a lot of switches, and potentially JS can be using that to get momentum off of it and into his other Pokemon. Now the thing with Darmanitan and Galar is, I would say that this Pokemon is walled by a lot of water types, and those water types can easily run like a Rocky Helmet, get up Stealth Rocks, and then that Darmanitan and Galar is getting chipped and chipped and chipped. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how JS utilizes it. And another Pokemon, Spectrier. This Pokemon, I would say, is not good. That might be a hot take. You know, this Pokemon got banned from OU just because of how insane its stats are. Like, take a look at its stats. It's got 145 special attack and 130 speed. And its ability is Special Moxie. Absolutely insane. But then, you look at its move pool. You look at its move pool and you realize, oh shoot, well, any dark type or any normal type can wall this Pokemon. But yeah, I mean, we'll see like if JS can figure out some funny ways to use this. And then the rest of his drafts, like, holy crap, what is this? He has like Trapping and Dragalge, which is, I don't know how to feel about Dragalge. I think it's alright as like a spiker and a pivot. So yeah, he has a lot of hazards. Mega Sableye kind of being the hazard control for his own side. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you run So I realized I lost some of the recording, so I'm just going to redo this again. But basically, as I was saying, I feel like if you have Darmanitan Galar, you definitely want to have some good hazard control on your side, so that you can free it up to just run Band or Scarf and click attacks and not have to worry about it taking rocks all the time. But yeah, with that being said, this was the part where Boo was going to talk about his team. Alright, so while I did originally have a conversation with Boo, Ray, and Sid about their drafts, unfortunately that footage was lost. However, the three of them have graciously provided me with a transcript of basically what they said, so I will now be using text-to-speech to pretend as if they were still here.
What I said about my team. Garcomp is not gonna always be the full definition Rocky Helm said this time. Trust me, although it might have been originally, when I started drafting, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to draft something bulky or offensive or simist, all the Garcomp pick was to stay flexible, and then I saw Darmanitan up and cycle to and in like 8 let's go. Draft strategy became to pick Pokemon that are just really annoying / difficult to team build against. Basically most of the problem Pokemon on my team can only really run one set, so I just slap together whatever, and then I'm good. But my poor opponent needs to grief their sets to deal with certain threats, so I'm comfortable
Honestly,
I can
makes
build
sense.
whatever and still retain my core team, while forcing others outside their comfort zone. I don't need to use my brain, but my opponents do. My team never gonna be good, but it's hard to argue that it's gonna be bad lmao. I have a thing for inflexible, one-dimensional Pokemon because they're funny to use, but it's true that I can't go full 1D. Need to mix some 2D in there to balance it out.
True.
Drafted Tardigrade Baron Bunny BC. He drafted Tarmegalol. Drafted Staraptor to grief Kyanaco. Drafted Magnezone to grief Squeaks. Drafted Murkrow to grief Ray, but he seemed happy that I picked it up, so maybe I made a mistake.
Yes, maybe you did make a mistake with the Murkrow. Alright, well, thank you, Boo, for sharing your wonderful insight on the draft. I wish you a good season, and look forward to seeing what funny sets you come up with. The next team, the Shadow Xatus, coached by Ray. Now, this guy Ray, during the draft, he was just constantly complaining. Like, man, he kept on saying like, oh, I just need this next Pokemon. I just need this next Pokemon and my team will be good. He said that like 20 times, man. Which is good, you know. I'm glad that he's passionate about our league. But yeah, let's just get into his team. So, the first pick of his draft, he grabs Landorus Therian. You know, Lando T is a big player in the standard metagame. And even in draft, you know, it's really good. If you take a look at Lando's stats, right? He has that insane 145 attack. Got the Intimidate ability, of course, just like Garchomp. You can run him defensive with a helmet and the rocks. You can also run it as a sweeper with Rock Polish, with Sword Stance. You can run it Scarf, just like I believe in Standard it's mostly Scarf now. Yeah, very versatile Pokemon, can fill a lot of roles on your team. And to back it up, he has grabbed the Kartana and the Heatran on the second and third rounds. You know, this really does look like a standard team. Dude is really out here just playing OU. Obviously in draft it's a bit different. You can prep for these Pokemon. But it's still a very solid core. And I believe that Ray also said that he modeled this team after a Gen 7 team that he had. But yeah, then looking at some of his later picks, it looks more like a Gen 6 team, like Keldeo, Altaria, Lantern. I seriously have not seen these Pokemon since the days of Gen 6 draft. But overall, it is a pretty solid build. He did mention that the Altaria was needed for his team to kind of patch up some holes, and I can definitely see that. There's not much else on his team that wants to come in on maybe water types or fighting types. I mean, I guess Buzzwole is a great fighting switch-in on the physical side, actually. But otherwise, Altaria is kind of like the glue that holds this team together. And then looking at some of his later picks, you know, he's got the Wish Pass, he's got the Spike support, and also some very potent setup sweepers overall. The Shell Smash Cloyster, always something that the opponent has to watch out for. Dragon Dance Mega Altaria, Calm Mind Keldeo, Sword Stance Kartana. He has a lot of options to work with here. And I think, yeah, overall this team will definitely be played very bulky, very reactionary. He's going to be switching in on attacks and trying to break through the opponent as well. But there are some Pokemon that could potentially give this team trouble. Some strong stall breakers, for example, could muscle past this team. Nevertheless, I think it is a top team. I believe in my rankings. Yeah, maybe it's spoilers if I show them now because I already did the rankings. But yeah, it's probably like a top 5 team.
Alright, Andrew, aka Ray, do you want to tell us about your team?
I said I was trying to draft a bulky / stilly core, because that's how I like to play, with a Kartana for some offense. But halfway through the draft I realized I just had stilly mons with no recovery outside leftovers which gets easily knocked off. Lando, Heatran. I really wanted a bulky water type like Finny or Slowbro, and instead I had to settle for a Keldeo. I was kinda backed into a corner during the later parts of the draft, had to pick Mega Altaria for defensive typing, and Umbreon for Wish Pass. I basically drafted the Pokemon that I typically like to use in OU. In particular, I slapped Kartana and Buzzwole onto basically every team. Really like Buzzwole,
I can
because
tell.
it walls 90% of physical attackers. I never planned on drafting Murkrow. lmao.
Alright, well, thank you, Ray. All things considered, I think you still ended up with a pretty good team, so I wish you good luck in the upcoming season.
But yeah, moving on, next we have the Pokemon Club co-president, the funny yellow man himself. You know, he will do anything to get some laughs out of people. so we can expect to see some funny prep and funny play from him. It is Sid. Now, Sid is probably one of the stronger players in this pool. He has experience with counter team format, Draft League before, and he primarily plays old gens. So you already know that he's gonna pull up with some spicy techs. And looking at the team, I would say that this team is literally just all the annoying Pokemon. Like, you got the Mega Diancie. This Pokemon is like impossible to switch in. I don't think there's a single Pokemon on this draft board that can switch into this Diancie. And then there's the Mew, which you already know, man. It's a Mew, right? Like, this Pokemon can do like anything. It can be like rocks, spikes, defog, you know, like your standard hazard control. You can run it as Nasty Plot, you can run it as Calm Mind, you can run it Dragon Dance. This Pokemon gets like every setup move in the world, and the opponents always have to watch out for potentially a Mew late game that can just absolutely clean through them. Yeah, definitely very scary first two Pokemon. And then the Empoleon. If you don't know, Empoleon actually has Roost now. It doesn't show on here because we're not in the Legends Arceus format, but it did actually get Roost in Pokemon Legends Arceus. And I think Empoleon is like a pretty unique Pokemon. Like, looking at the draft board, there's like not really anything else that does what Empoleon does. You could say like, oh yeah, Metagross is also like a bulky steel type, right? But Empoleon has Roost, and it also has the water typing. You could say, okay, it's kind of similar to Corviknight, but like Corviknight isn't a water type. Corviknight is not gonna throw off Scalds or come into Scalds. Yeah, I think Empoleon will have a rather unique role, and I'm looking forward to what it can do, both for Sid's team and just like in the draft league overall. And next up, he's got like Zapdos. This Pokemon can be an absolute nightmare to take down. It just does not die. You know, with Boots and Roost, super hard to wear down. Yeah, I think it'll just sit there and not die. And then, of course, we have Diggersby. Diggersby, though, you know, it's just a really strong Pokemon, and of course, it also gives him spikes. Yeah, pretty good pickup, I would say. And looking at the rest of his team, he has some funny Pokemon, which, yeah, this would be the part where he talks about why he picked them. But yeah, I guess like I can talk about Mienshao, which I think Mienshao is a fantastic Pokemon. You know, you can use it as a pivot with a Regenerator. You can use it as a Scarfer. You can use it even SD or Band. Should be pretty cool seeing how Sid uses this Pokemon. Alright, Sid, tell us about your draft. Why did you pick the Wobbuffet and the Snover?
What I said about my Pokemon was Diancie I know gets body press, play rough and mystical fire, so I wanted to try it out.
Okay,
I
fair
just saw
enough.
somehow and picked at round 2. Empoleon with Roost is funny, and I wanted to see how it works, even though I know it's probably just bad. Zapdos was the only good electric not picked at round 4, so I just snap-picked it. Diggersby I needed a ground and Zygarde had just been sniped, so I picked it up. Discipline I wanted a strong attacker, and I liked the flexibility it provided, plus it had knockoff, and U-turn for later synergy. A Lala Persian I wanted a bulky dark type, and Parting Shot plus WOBB, who I wanted at this point, is for sure broken. Mienshao I needed some speed and a fighting type, and this was the only one left for a reasonable price at that point. We're buffered. Quill gives me spikes and intimidate support. Snover, flex pick.
Okay, honestly, getting Mew and at round 2 and Zapdos at round 4 was already insane enough. Imagine if this man also got the Zygarde on round 5. Honestly, I am super glad you got sniped, dude. Like, if you got Zygarde, I feel like the league was just over. You know, you would just trample everyone. Yeah, this definitely makes it a little more exciting. I still cannot believe that you planned Parting Shot into Wobbuffet for your draft. But I guess that's pretty funny. We'll see if it ever works out. And yeah, looking forward to seeing your games. Should be some very fun ones. All right, good luck to you this season, and we're gonna move on to the Single Strikers, coached by Broken Motor. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have no idea who Broken Motor is. This dude basically just like hopped in our server, went like, fuck you, I'm going to win, and drafted a super fucking broken team. You already see, he's coaching the Single Strikers, and of course, he picked up the mascot, Urshifu Single Strike. This Pokemon is absolutely insane. Super busted Pokemon. You know, it got banned from OU for a reason, and in draft, I would say it's just as good. You just run Wicked Blow, and this move is so insane. It's 80 base power, but it always crits, so essentially, it's 120 base power. And, I mean, Necrozma didn't get drafted, but like, if it did, and that thing goes for like cosmic power, bullshit, whatever, it's going to win the game. But then you just bring in Urshifu and you crit through it and you just like kill that thing. Not to mention, it even has Unseen Fist, which you have like all the Wish Protect Pokemon, like, you know, the evolutions, all those fairy types. You think, oh yeah, they can just like Wish Protect on this guy. No, this guy just freaking Wicked Blows or like Poison Jabs, sends them to oblivion, right? You can run Band, you can run Scarf. This Pokemon, it just claims kills. It just comes in and claims kills. It even has some other, I guess, funny options besides Band and Scarf. I'll be looking forward to seeing if Broken Motor makes use of those. But yeah, after Urshifu Single, he got Scizor Mega and Rotom Wash. These two Pokemon are some of my favorite Pokemon to use. Scizor Mega is just, you know, it's bulky, it's a good team player, great pivot, right? It's super fat, you can just come in and U-turn, and then you get momentum. You can knock off some boots, you can, yeah, basically just sit there, roost, take whatever attacks, U-turn out, and of course, you also have Sword Stance. This Pokemon can just set up and, you know, clean through the team if it's Sword Stance. Of course, if you're trying to win with this Pokemon, you might want to run Max Attack. You might want to run, more commonly, Bulky Sword Stance, so you can serve as both a pivot and have some breaking power there. Honestly, just like a fantastic Pokemon all around. And then you have Rotom Wash. Another great pivot, even has breaking options in Nasty Plot. Personally, I love running Nasty Plot Wash. It's always served me well. And then he even has Slowking Galar. Like, just this top 4, I would say, is the most... It's like the best top 4 in the entire league. And then later on, he has some more interesting picks as well. The Passimian, this was actually not a round 5 Passimian, as it might seem. The Passimian was picked up through the Grace Period free agency. I believe this was a Crocodile at first, but then I guess he thought, oh yeah, Crocodile is kind of similar to Urshifu Single in what it does. I mean, Passimian is also basically just similar to Urshifu Single. I'm not too sure why he did that. Yeah, I mean, you look at Passimian, it's like the same Pokemon, but not as good. I mean, he can feel free to prove me wrong, and show me why Passimian is good. But yeah, he did also pick up Togekiss, which I think is, it's a good dragon answer, a good answer to some of those dragon types that might have the coverage to blow through his team, and can also be like a nice wish passer, serving as sort of like a glue of the team, keeping Urshifu, Rotom healthy. You also have the Colossal, which I think this was a pretty underrated pick, with the spikes and the stealth rocks as well as rapid spin. Pretty nice utility from this Pokemon. And the Cinderace, which I thought was a fantastic pick for this team. We've seen like this core before in prior formats where Urshifu wasn't banned. You have like Urshifu, Scizor, Rotom, Cinderace, very solid pivoting core. Cinderace can kind of like come in on some of those faster Pokemon that would otherwise tear this team apart, pivot in on them and then pivot out again. It can even like court change. Yeah, just having that 119 speed here is absolutely huge, because otherwise you look at something like I don't know, Latios or like Victini, who just outspeed the whole team and kind of obliterate with like a choice move. Yeah, Cinderace definitely helps in that regard. And then for his last picks, I guess they're kind of counter picks. Yeah, I mean, with all the ghosts running around in the pool, I think it definitely makes sense to grab a couple normal types in the last few slots. Overall, very solid draft. I would rank this first for now out of the ones that we've seen so far. But yeah, I guess I have a recording from Broken Motor. So yeah, go ahead and tell us about your team. Sure, go for it.
Can you pull it up, because I don't remember what I drafted.
This man does not even remember his own draft.
I remember the first 4 Pokemon. That matters.
Yeah,
Okay,
the first
so-
4 that matter, right?
Okay, so basically I wanted to build a team around Urshifu single, because you don't get to use it in OU.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah. So I was thinking about good partners for it. So I guess Scizor is a good partner because it can, like, so Urshifu is sort of scared of, like, fairies, I guess. And also just, like, faster attackers in general. So Scizor has some priority, and it can obviously be a good pivot with taking. And then same with Slowking. So originally I wanted Gengar, but that got taken. So Slowking is just a really good Pokemon overall. It can tank a lot of hits for no reason. It has Regenerator. It can absorb toxic spikes. But it's kind of busted, I think.
Yeah, just a generally broken Pokemon.
Same with Rotom. So those 3 Pokemon are just there to try to get Urshifu in. Okay, and then the next one I picked is actually Togekiss, because I don't even know how to say Passimian was in the free agency part. So
Yeah.
Togekiss was because I needed a defogger that I didn't want to put defog on Rotom that much. But I think it's just a good Pokemon overall too. It can be a cleric if I wanted to. And then, so my next picks are kind of scuffed, I think. So Colossal is like extreme roll compression. Like, it can do stealth rocks and rapid spin and spikes, and it can be a physical wall with flame body. So it can do everything. So just in case I need it. Cinderace was still free for some reason. My team was really lacking the speed department. So I was trying to make up for it. I think it. Yeah. Were you saying something?
Oh no.
Well, I think Urshifu and Cinderace share some checks, so maybe they can like overwhelm them or something. But we'll see. I wasn't really planning on picking Cinderace, so I don't really know what it's gonna do. So the rest of my picks are like probably gonna be really specific counter picks or something. Passimian, I think, is like underrated. I don't remember why I thought that. it's a good pivoter. I guess it's like Mienshao but slow and with that regenerator. From what I remember.
Yeah,
Wigglytuff, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah.
if it's Mienshao but slower without regenerator, then it's not Mienshao. You just took away the best parts of Mienshao and called it the same Pokemon.
It's okay. If I nickname it Mienshao, it would be the same.
Oh yeah, then it'll work.
I think Rhydon. I showed you what it could do a little bit. It can be a little surprising.
Yeah.
So, that'd be cool. It can also be a South Rocker if I don't want to use Colossal, which I probably don't. Wigglytuff is like a pretty much basically like a counter pick, but it can also just be a bulky normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then type null can hold Eviolite.
Yes. Very broken. Also, I just realized Cinderace actually has court change, so
Yeah, it does that too. I don't really like using court change, but it's always an option.
yeah, it is an option. I have a feeling you're probably going to be getting up more rocks from Cinderace than any of your other Pokemon.
That's true.
But yeah, I guess thanks for giving your thoughts, and I wish you a good season.
Thanks.
Alright, next up we have Sylvester, aka Namu, coaching the Polus, the sussiest of all the teams. I'm sorry, Sid, but you gotta give it to him with the Among Us logo. Alright, so Sylvester started off with the Clefable, Corviknight, and Slowbro Mega. I'm gonna be honest, initially I wasn't huge on this team, just because I guess it's personal preference, but I like to pick strong breakers initially for the first few picks and then get my defensive core, but Sylvester elected to go for a more defensive route. Now, all things considered, this is a very good defensive core. You know, Clefable core, Slowbro, this is tried and true. And definitely very hard to break. But I think this draft gets really good when you see the round 5 Zygarde 50 that got picked up. Not only does this bolster the defensive prowess of what he already has, like maybe his first 3 could be broken by a strong electric type, and Zygarde definitely laughs in the face of those. Especially with the removal of Hidden Power Ice. But yeah, not only does it complement his defensive synergy, it also gives him some offensive presence as well. He can definitely set up with his Zygarde and threaten to just straight up clean teams. Another thing that he got was Regieleki, which personally, I'm not a fan of this Pokemon. I don't think it's good. And for this team specifically, I don't think it's going to be doing a lot more than getting up some screens and dying. Which, I mean, if that's what you need, then sure. But I feel like with Regieleki, its potential is maximized when you have a trapping Pokemon. For example, Gothitelle, Dugtrio, or just some way to like get rid of or significantly cripple the opponent's ground type, because as long as there's a ground type on the field or on the opponent's team, Regieleki is not doing anything. But yeah, I mean, it's a fine draft, and looking a little bit further down, something else I want to mention is the Arctozolt. I thought it was interesting that he chose to get Arctozolt with no hail. You know, you do not see a hail setter here, and Arctozolt, it's, you know, under hail, it's a very powerful Pokemon, outspeeding pretty much the entirety of the opponent's draft, barring Scarfers, and firing off those strong Bolt Beaks, as well as the Icicle Crashes and the Blizzards on the ground types. However, he does not have the hail, So I'm pretty interested to see what this Arctozolt will do. It still does have the Bolt Beam coverage, extremely good coverage, but there is no Hail. Now there is 8 points left over, however. So he could easily pick up something like an Alola Ninetales or like a Vanillux. I'm pretty curious to see what he does with his remaining points. Yeah, so I guess that kind of wraps up my thoughts on this team. Do we have Sylvester here? Yeah, he is here. Do you want to give some thoughts on your team?
Yes, sir. Now,
All
what
right.
I can say about the team is that it may not have synergy, it may not have momentum. However, it has passion.
Oh!
Yeah, I have handpicked all of my favorites. And even though this team gets absolutely shredded by, like, say, Hoopa and Bound, it will be a fun time playing this team.
Awesome, that's great to hear. Honestly, yeah, when you pick Pokemon that you just like, you roll with it, you'll get someplace, you'll get pretty far, you know? And you said there's no momentum, but you have Big Darmanitan right here. He's going to be firing off some powerful U-turns this season for you, I guarantee that.
Oh, you caught me.
Alright, yeah. I guess it will be interesting to see how you spend those last 8 points. You do still have 5 free agents remaining, and I wish you the best of luck in this upcoming season. So next up, you know, we have Polus. Of course, we have to also have Skeld. Skeld is being coached by Arshaw, aka Random 256. No, Arshaw, I don't know too much about him as a player, but I do know that this man has a lot of information at his disposal. I'm sure he will have no trouble scouting the opposing teams. But yeah, Arshaw, I would say this is by far the most top-heavy draft of the entire draft. He started off with a Deoxys Speed, which, you know, Deoxys Speed is a pretty interesting Pokemon. Personally, I'm not too much of a fan, but it does threaten a lot on paper. You know, with the 180 speed, look at this speed stat. You're already outspeeding like everything relevant with 0 investment. You can afford to run stuff like modest max HP most of the time. You can run like Nasty Plot, Psycho Boost. Did Psycho Boost? Yeah, I guess Psycho Boost got deleted. I mean Psychic, it's like the same thing. You run your Stealth Rocks, you run your Spikes. You can even run Recover on this. This Pokemon has a lot of things it can do, not too dissimilar to Mew, but obviously it does have that giant speed stat. And you know, you can even run this physical. You can run like support, or not support, like utility. You can run status on it. You can run, does this get teleport? Oh my god. Teleport Deoxys Speed. I don't know if we'll be seeing this one, but it would be very funny seeing a Deoxys Speed move last on the field. But yeah, definitely very versatile Pokemon. Most of the time you'll be using it to get up hazards. You know, Stealth Rocks, Spikes. Does it get Toxic Spikes? No Toxic Spikes. But yeah, very good lead. Then next, he picked the Tornadus-Therian. Tornadus-Therian, I think this is one of the best Pokemon in Draft League. Simply because you have the Boots and you have the Regenerator, and you spam U-turn and you do not die. And on top of that, it has some great tools in Nasty Plot, you know, Hurricane, Heat Wave, whatnot. You can use this to easily break through the team, or just like honestly just knock and U-turn and serve as a pivot, opening some holes for your other Pokemon. Very, very solid. And then next up, he picked the Tapu Fini, which I think this was an interesting pick. I know some others also thought it was an interesting pick, but Fini, you know, it's got a lot of tools to work with. It can run like some setup set, like Iron Defense, Calm Mind, as well as the Draining Kiss, of course. And I believe it also gets Flip Turn now. Oh, I guess I was wrong about that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an alright Pokemon, but maybe a bit overpriced for 16 points. I personally wouldn't take it, but I'm looking forward to see what Arsha does. And next up, he got Victini and Garchomp Mega, two Pokemon that I like very much. Yeah, you know, Victini, it just does what Victini does. It clicks Banded V-Create. You can also run it with Boots, just as a general pivot, and you can run Special. This thing has crazy coverage, man. Like, yeah, I just love this Pokemon so much. I hope Arsha does it justice. And then, of course, we have the Garchomp Mega. This Pokemon, you know, we meme on it a lot because it has the 92 speed, but you know, this Pokemon is still very, very powerful. You get the Sword Stance up, and with 170 attack stat, nothing is going to be switching into this comfortably. Yeah, we'll be seeing how Arsha uses this to break through his opponent's teams, hopefully. But yeah, overall very solid. Top few picks, but I will say that I don't know, I found them kind of strange, like maybe not very synergistic. These are a lot of Pokemon that typically you don't see together. I'm not sure if that's because they don't work well together or because nobody ever gets all of these Pokemon in the first 6 picks. But yeah, I do like the Vikavolt pickup later on, and these last few picks are kind of memes, I would say. He's got the Hippopotas for the Sand Force on Garchomp, of course. And then the Cottony and Magnemite, probably hoping to run Fear Strats. I'm not sure if Fear Strats will work on a majority of this league, but you know what? We'll see. We'll see. Arsha, do we have you here today? Okay, looks like he's not here. Alright, that's fine. We'll move on to Mr. Banana Thief, coaching the Youngster Joey. Now, I will say that Mr. Banana Thief used to have an extremely epic logo in place of this drawing. But this drawing was handmade for him by his girlfriend, which, come on man, that's just too sweet. I couldn't allow him to not replace his logo. So yeah, this is his logo now. But Mr. Banana Thief, of course, picking up the Landorus Incarnate with the first pick. Now, if you guys don't know, Landorus Incarnate is an absolute insane Pokemon. This Pokemon gets Sheer Force. You can run that with Life Orb and not take any chip. And then you got the Earth Power, you got the Psychic, you got the Sludge Wave. Like, what's switching into this? I don't know if there's any Pokemon that resists everything that Landorus can throw at it. And on top of that, you know, you can run this as a pivot, I guess, with knockoff and U-turn. But most of the time, you're just going to be firing off those strong, unresisted hits. You can also use this to get up Stealth Rock, as well as the Mawile, which he picked up really late, actually, to get up those Stealth Rocks. Now, this team is... this team is like... I don't even know how to describe it, because on one hand, it's like hyper offense. Like, you got the Ribombee webs, you got the Mawile with a, like, unresisted breaking power, Landorus also with an unresisted breaking power, with those two also being the only rockers. And then you got Dragonite to sweep or Zero Aura to pivot around and clean up. But on the other hand, you also have the bulky walls. The Toxapex and Tangrowth Core. With the Regenerator, you can just keep switching between those two. If the opponent does not have a good breaker for these two Pokemon, they're going to have a really tough time. Yeah, crazy team on the offensive and the defensive side. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what Mr. Banana Thief can do this season. Alright, moving on. We have Jesus coaching Attack on Tyranitar. Look at this logo, man. It's so sick. So clean, man. You got the Mega Tyranitar in the back. He's breaking down the walls. Super awesome team name. But yeah, Jesus, he is my senior in the Pokemon decal, so yeah, he's also teaching that class, so you know, I can't shit talk him too bad. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this draft. We see first pick Zamazenta C. Now this Pokemon is extremely potent. I believe the last time I played with it was in OLT season. I don't remember what season it was, but I do remember that this Pokemon went absolutely crazy, just racking up a ton of kills. We can take a look at its move pool. You see it's got the close combat. Of course, it also has the Steel Stab and Behemoth Bash. It can even run something like Psychic Fangs to act as coverage for Toxapex, so that Pokemon no longer walls it. Of course, even with all these ridiculous stats, the high attack, the high defenses, and the very high speed, allowing it to outspeed a lot of threats, you're not going to be able to see it really boost its attack. You see, it cannot use like a Choice Band or Life Orb, anything like that, and its only attack raising move is actually Howl. So it'll be interesting to see how Jesus can make use of this Pokemon. But taking a look at the rest of his team, it looks like he's gotten some sort of a Sand Core here, which is super interesting. Sand with the Mega Tyranitar. Of course, this means that he actually will not be able to use the Smooth Rock Sandstorm with Sandstream with Tyranitar. Instead, he will only get 5 turns of Sand for the Dracovish and the Excadrill to abuse. But you know what? Honestly, sometimes 5 turns is all you need. So if he can make it work, we'll see if he can make it work. But something I guess like that's kind of funny to point out. I think someone said that Jesus's entire team gets walled by a single Pokemon, which is not entirely true, but it is definitely true that this team is going to have a lot of trouble breaking through bulky water type Pokemon. It's not even just the ones that have like Water Absorb or Storm Drain, so that Dracovish cannot break through them. Even something like a Milotic, right? Milotic can come in on Dracovish. Since it's faster, it gets the recover off. And then, yeah, he's going to have a tough time dealing with Pokemon like that. We'll see if Jesus's multiple Pokemon hitting into the water type can help overwhelm it, or if he'll actually end up being walled. But obviously there also is the Regidrago, which can come in on those water types and fire off a strong dragon move that can definitely help break those Pokemon that might wall the rest of his team. However, Regidrago is a bit one-dimensional as well, where it is pretty much walled by any fairy type. So yeah, this team might actually have some trouble breaking through bulky cores, but I think the potential is definitely there. He's got the Klefki with the spikes and screen support to support his breakers. And he's got very, very powerful Pokemon, you know, Dracovish or Shifu Rapid, and of course Zamazenta C, Mega Tyranitar, all very powerful Pokemon. And also, finally, he has the Shedinja with Sand, which, you know, always love to see that. But yeah, I think overall this is a pretty good team. Definitely not bad, but yeah, there are some weaknesses, and we'll see how Jesus plays around that. But next up, I want to talk about my man Ricardo, aka Crimson Flash 20, coaching the Knights of Distortion. You already see that logo right there. You see the hand-picked Pokemon that he has so arduously shiny hunted for, and they are now a part of his draft. And above them you see the Giratina hovering around the team, kind of like their dad or something. You know, it's the Knights of Distortion. He has the Giratina there. It's the whole team. Super, super cool. I also like that he got round 1 Hatterene. He just had to make sure, you know, nobody else is taking that Pokemon. He has to have it for the shiny team. But yeah, at first, with the first couple rounds, it kind of did look like that he was going for something like a Psy-Spam or maybe a Trick Room team. Just having the 2 Psychic Fairy types hitting into their shared checks, breaking them down and overwhelming the opponent. That could have been something that he was going for. But then we saw the Mega Swampert pick, and at least to me, this kind of solidified this team as a rain team or semi-rain team, and we do indeed later see the Pelipper pickup from Ricardo. So this is, I don't know, I feel like this team is like a weird mishmash of a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously it's not full rain, but he does have a few potential abusers. He also has Pokemon like the Zapdos Galar and the Salamence that just straight up can hit really hard. And of course Silvally with the versatility, Rotom Heat as a pivot. He has some pretty good Pokemon. I would say that a major weakness of this draft is that he kind of lacks switch-ins to honestly most things, but especially something like a Banded Stone Edge, for example. Like, look at his team. The only things taking those are Mega Swampert potentially or Duraludon, which when you have Duraludon as your Steel type, I do not think Duraludon is a very good Pokemon. Ricardo can feel free to prove me wrong. However, yeah, I just don't think it's that great. And when you're going to have to rely on that to be your defensive answer to a lot of types, I feel like you're better off playing more offensively anyways. So we'll probably see more offensive play from Ricardo with his draft. But yeah, I think overall there's just a lot of cool Pokemon here. Especially I like the Lilligant pickup. In the past, I myself had my moments with Lilligant. Sometimes you just like set up and the opponent cannot kill this thing. Super fun Pokemon. Yeah, he's got a lot of fun Pokemon overall. Looking forward to seeing how Ricardo does this season. Alright, but next up, we already have, you know who it is. It is B747, Mr. Proj, spreading happiness and smiles everywhere with his team of smiling Pokemon. Proj is coaching the smilingkyogre, and he has a, it's a team of like very scary Pokemon. Like, each of these Pokemon is very powerful. You have Charizard Mega, firing off the strong Flare Blitzes, always threatening the opponent with a Dragon Dance. Or, if they over-prep for the Dragon Dance set, maybe they'll find themselves face-to-face with a Sword Stance Charizard Mega that just goes ahead and breaks through their team. And you have Kyurem. Kyurem is actually one of my favorite Pokemon within the format. Just because of the crazy amount of things it can do. You know, it can run a sub-toxic set with a Roost. This can PP stall like virtually any Pokemon out there. And of course you have like the Freeze Dry for the water type coverage. You can run Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance is a set that a lot of people do not look out for. They kind of forget that this Pokemon gets that. And then it can fire off the Icicle Spears. You can even run it mixed, keep the Freeze Dry on there. This Pokemon, of course you can run like Specs, Scarf. It just has so many things that it can do. Very solid pickup. But I think it is interesting that he chose to double up on the Dragon types with Charizard Mega and Kyurem. Yeah, definitely will be able to break through a lot of water types, probably baiting them in with a Kyurem and then opening up Charizard, or the other way around, where you run like Swords Dance Charizard and then you open for the Kyurem. Very interesting core over there. And to follow it up, he grabs the Gengar. Gengar, of course, now is a huge threat as well, because with the removal of Pursuit, it can just come in, fire off Shadow Balls and Sludge Waves, switch out, not have to worry about getting trapped, and come back in again. With its blistering 110 speed stat, it can run Specs, it can run Nasty Plot, it can run Scarf if the matchup calls for it. You know, very powerful Pokemon. Definitely a solid pickup. Then the rest of these Pokemon, you know, he just gets a lot of scary offensive power, and follows it up with Swampert, which I think will be the main pivot for this team, being the, yeah, it looks like it's the only rocker, as well as having Flip Turn. It'll probably be taking in, it'll probably be coming in to take most of the hits, pivot out to one of the breakers, and continue to get kills. And after that he gets the Venusaur, which I think this is a pretty interesting pickup. Usually you see Venusaur on Sun teams, otherwise you would opt to get, I would say, like a bulkier grass type. But yeah, Venusaur definitely a very solid Pokemon. I think, yeah, we could see a Sunny Day Venusaur sweep coming from Proj one of these weeks. Or otherwise it could just be like Leech Seed. Yeah. And the last pick is Meloetta. Meloetta, I think this is a pretty interesting Pokemon. You know, you can run it as a pivot because it does have U-turn, I believe. You can run it as a pivot, you can run it Calm Mind with Rest Talk maybe even. And of course you can run the fighting form Meloetta by giving it Relic Song. I think this set is kind of a meme, but you know what? Maybe he can pull it off. And I think we do have Proj here with us today. So would you like to go ahead and talk about your team?
Well, I was just trying to go for different types, and also I had to choose Charizard because Zard, and then Gengar is pretty cool, so
Yeah.
pretty much went to go for some of like the more powerful ones, and come up with word threats I can come up when I think about it.
Yeah, I think you've done a pretty good job for yourself. Definitely picked up a lot of scary Pokemon. Of course, you had to get the Charizard, right? Of course. Alright. Awesome. So I guess we can move on to Sunny, Childish Android, coaching the Sinnoh Soldiers. You already see that logo over there. He has extremely menacing, just like this team over here. Sunny had the wheel pick of the draft, and he elected to choose Aegislash and Shuckle, which I thought was very interesting. I mean, we do have some Shuckle stands in this draft here, but choosing it to get it on the wheel pick of round 1, definitely an interesting decision. Yeah, I see this team has a lot of bulk, you know. You have the Aegislash, which, you know, itself can take hits very well, but also Cresselia, which is pretty much just a pure wall, and Milotic, which can serve as a pivot as well as a wall, with flip turn, recover, Scald, and Haze, can help prevent some sweeps from the opponent. Snorlax, always a very solid Pokemon. Yeah, has always been able to do the same thing, just rest up, sit there, curse up, and fire off body slams. Very powerful Pokemon. And then he gets an assortment of offensive threats. You know, we see the horse, the ice horse. I guess Sid has recently found some success with his Pokemon on the ladder. We'll see if Sunny does the same in the draft. As well as Mimikyu and Scolipede. These Pokemon are Pokemon that I have not seen in a long time, if I'm being honest. Shuckle, Talonflame, Kangaskhan. I have not used those Pokemon since Gen 6. And Mimikyu, obviously, has not really been the same since the removal of Z moves. But it's definitely an interesting squad. We'll see what Sunny does with it. Sunny, you are here with us right now. Would you like to say a few things about your team? Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Honestly, I haven't played competitive in like a long time. I took a long break from it because life happens.
Yeah.
And I went with Pokemon that I personally like, and also that I know. Well, as you already said, bulk. I do like bulk, so I went with that as my first option. But then I also had to take into consideration everyone's other roster and like what else can I have.
Right.
Not only take hits, but then also like what could I use to counter it. That's why I chose that's why I chose the Ice Horse specifically, because I did not have an Ice type, and I knew there was going to be dragons around.
I see. So Glastrier will be your dragon answer.
Not fully, but I do have a Mimikyu for that too.
Yep, that is true. We'll see if you can get some Mimikyu sweeps this season. One thing else that I wanted to ask you, why did you elect to choose Shuckle on the round 1 wheel?
Well, 1, it's Shuckle.
Okay.
And 2, I was talking with my friend who has a really annoying Shuckle, and he's played competitive before.
Mm-hmm.
And when I told him about this league, like as your first 2 picks, I'm disowning you.
Dang.
So I basically
he got the pure pressure.
So basically, I did it for him, and also he gave me a moveset for that Shuckle, so I'm excited to show it.
All right, interesting. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing what you can do with a Shuckle. I guess like one more question that I have for you. You are one of the few coaches that actually has points remaining. Do you foresee yourself making use of any free agent transactions later in the season to spend those points?
Yeah, that's basically why I didn't want to spend them all necessarily, because I knew I might have to, or just in case, I would have to pull a free agent move. So yeah, that's why I didn't like spend all my 9 points on I forgot who's on the 9-point roster, but I went with something that also I needed bulk and also, as we know, Trick Room. So
Oh,
yeah,
so you will be running a Trick Room squad sometimes. That would be interesting to see. Yeah. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that your current Pokemon do serve you well while you do have them.
thank you.
Yep, of course. All right. Who just joined the call just now? Oh, Jesus, welcome. I guess at the end, when we come back, you can choose to talk about your team if you so wish. Alright, next up we have Sam, aka Lit Wickson, with the Lit Wicks. I love this team name. It's so funny, man. It's because he's called Lit Wickson, and he called it the Lit Wicks. And of course, because it's the Lit Wicks, he picks Chandelure round 1. But not only that, look at this man's team. He stays with the Gen 5 theme throughout the entire draft. I mean, okay, Sam is also my senior in the decal, so I cannot flame him. But you know, Sam, there were a lot of other choices that you could have gone with if you wanted to stick with the Gen 5 theme. That being said, I do think the Krokorok and the Watchog were very fire pickups. But yeah, this team, I think, despite the 25 extra points, I think this team still has potential. Audino Mega is actually a very solid Pokemon, in my opinion. Most of the time you actually just use it as regular Audino to keep the Regenerator and just hold on to the Mega Stone, so it can pass off wishes to the Seismitoad, keep that thing healthy to the Gothitelle, and to the Terrakion even, on a potential pivot. And speaking of Terrakion, this Pokemon will definitely be Sam's main breaker. I think it's extremely powerful. You know Terrakion already. It's got the Sword Stance. It's got the Rock Polish. This Pokemon can punch some holes, or it can just straight up sweep through opposing teams. And you can even slap on choice items there if you don't want to be set up. You can slap on Choice Band. As long as you hit Stone Edge, something's dying. Extremely powerful Pokemon, and to add to the firepower, of course, we have Haxorus, which can, Sword Dance up, Dragon Dance up, and of course the Chandelure on the special side. I'll look forward to see what Sam does with a Chandelure. I feel like most weeks it will probably just be taking advantage of the webs to run something like Specs or maybe Calm Mind, and then just punch through the opposing team that way. Some of these Pokemon definitely have a lot to work with. Seismitoad is a Pokemon that truly shines in Draft League, just because you can run Knockoff, you can run the Ice Punch, Scald, whatever, but it also gets some pretty funny moves that you can take advantage of when the matchup is right. And last thing I want to talk about, but definitely not least, is the Gothitelle. Gothitelle, kind of an interesting Pokemon, pretty much banished to Ubers because of the Shadow Tag ability. I'm looking forward to see how Sam makes use of this Gothitelle. I mean, obviously his biggest Pokemon will be like the Terrakion, the Haxorus, and he wants to open up those Pokemon. So something like an opposing Fairy type that may be very problematic for them, Gothitelle on the predicted switch can catch those Pokemon and basically remove them from the field. will be very interesting to see how he plays this. But yeah, I guess we can move on to Adrian. Adrian, the VGC Master and the TCG Extraordinaire. This man is pretty new to singles, but he did draft some pretty good Pokemon. So we can take a look over here. First pick, Latios. Latios is very solid. I like this Pokemon quite a bit in Draft League, just because, you know, you can slap on a Life Orb, you can slap on a Specs, whatever you want, but then it gets, of course, drop a Draco, and then you get Aura Sphere for the Darks and the Steels, you get Mystical Fire for the other Steels, and of course you get like Energy Ball, you get Surf. It's a very matchup dependent Pokemon, but usually you won't have trouble fitting 4 moves for any given matchup. It's just always very, very threatening. And then he picked a Celesteela. Personally, I'm not the biggest Celesteela fan, but that being said, this Pokemon is undeniably very threatening, as it gets both like the defensive Seed set as well as the Sweeper set with Atatata Mice. Yeah, you get that move, and then you run like Air Slash or like Heavy Slam even. Like, it doesn't matter that this halves your weight, or it doesn't have your weight. It removes like 100 kilograms. That literally does not matter. Heavy Slam will still be full power. This Pokemon, yeah, it's just really strong, and definitely always threatening a sweep. So that's something to watch out for. Gardevoir Mega is his next pick. Now, Gardevoir, this Pokemon has not been very, I would say, oppressive since Generation 6 in ORAS Draft League, when it was very, very good. After that, I guess like with Power Creep, with the nerfed, where's the Mega form? With a nerfed Pixelate, it has never been as threatening. However, now Gardevoir gets Recover. It does not show here because I'm not in the PLA tier, but from Pokemon Legends Arceus, this Pokemon actually has Recover. So it'll be interesting to see Gardevoir serve the role of a tank once more. With Recover, Hyper Voice, you know, any coverage move, very tough Pokemon to take down, especially on the special side. Yeah, I'll be seeing how Adrian uses it. And then, of course, you get Jirachi, I think was an interesting pick. It can serve as a good pivot, Wish Pass, and then Suicune, definitely very threatening. Can always threaten to Calm Mind sweep the opponent. Yeah, overall this team, I would say overall this team, you look at it and you see a bunch of good Pokemon. Okay, I would not call Chansey a good Pokemon, but these are like generally, you know, they look like good Pokemon. However, I think this team has a few glaring flaws. For example, the lack of a Dark Resist, I think is something that will definitely come back to bite Adrian in the ass. But yeah, I think he can definitely make use of things. With a lack of like resists, he will probably want to play it more offensively, but we'll see how he does. Alright, I have not ranked the teams in a while, so I guess I will go ahead and do that. I did put Crimson Flash on there. Praja's team, I think I will put Praja's team here. or maybe above AOT. And then the Sinnoh SOLDIERS. This team, I guess like I was initially pretty low on this team, but it looks like not as bad. I might still put it at 12 for now. And then Sam's team. I'm sorry, Sam, you have like 25 points left over. I know there's still a lot you can do with this team, but yeah, I don't think it quite measures up to some of the others. Yeah, and Adrian also, I would say initially very strong start, but the rest of the team, I think this will be kind of a tough team to play for him. Yeah, I'll put it over here. All right, moving on. We have the last two teams, and first up is Moltres' strongest soldier, coached by, you already know who it is. It is the previous club leader, the TCG player, the Stan of Homestuck. Whether he is bald or has hair, he will be making the firest of plays. It is Simon. Simon, aka Squigs, coaching the Moltres' strongest soldier. First pick, he gets the Dragapult. I think this was a fantastic pickup. Dragapult, extremely threatening Pokemon. Let's see. Yeah, Dragapult, it's got the 142 speed. Most of the time, this can run like Modest, it can run Adamant. You do not need to run max speed on it. You can run some bulk. Yeah, very solid. You can definitely tailor this Pokemon to the matchup and make use of its wide move pool. You can run like darts on physical. You can run, of course, a regular Specs Draco set. You can run sub Hex. Or you could just like, run it as a pivot or like a late game cleaner. It can definitely do, all of the above. Very good Pokemon. And to support it, he has the Ferrothorn. Dragapult, it can force a lot of switches, and to take advantage of that, you can lay up some spikes and just rack up the damage until they get put in range of Dragapult's attacks. And furthermore, he gets 2 ground types, not 1 but 2. 2 offensive ground types, one on the physical side being Mamoswine, and Nidoking, of course, more often being run special with a sheer force. Honestly, I think at first I was kind of questioning this decision, but looking at a lot of the other teams, Mamoswine and Nidoking both give those teams a lot of trouble, and being able to make use of both of them, as well as being able to choose who you want to run rocks on, whether it's Ferrothorn, freeing up a move slot on that, and giving it to like Nidoking or Mamoswine. Definitely a lot of options there. And Simon also picks up the Primarina, which, I'll be honest, I'm not huge on Primarina, just because I think it's a little too much roll compression. You make your Dragon Switchin and your Bulky Water the same Pokemon. That Pokemon is going to get chipped. However, Simon does also have 2 other fairy types, interestingly enough. The Weezing Galar, I believe, is because of the general lack of fighting switch-ins, at least is my assumption, looking at the rest of his roster. And the Slurpuff is a nice 7-point Webs pick, or potentially Belly Drum Sweeper. yeah, very solid draft. I do want to also talk about the Lopunny Mega, which, let's just take a look here, right? Lopunny Mega, it has the Scrabby ability, of course, to hit ghost types. It gets close combat now, it gets U-turn now, and recently in Legends Arceus it got double edge, so it actually has real normal stab again. Definitely super threatening Pokemon for most teams. However, you know, with Lopunny, a big thing is that it's always going to be taking Chip from Rocky Helmet on the U-turn, you know, Chip from the Spikes, Chip from the Stealth Rocks. It'll be interesting to see if Simon can deal with that and still overwhelm his opponents. Yeah, definitely a lot of offensive powerhouses in this draft. And the last Pokemon I want to mention, of course, is the mascot pick, Moltres. You can't be Moltres' strongest soldier without Moltres. However, Simon chooses the Dark type one. This Moltres does not have Roost, which I think is very hindering for it. However, it does have a lot of setup options, being Nasty Plot and Agility. Yeah, it can serve as a tank still with the use of Rest Talk. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from the man himself. Simon, are you here?
I am indeed.
Let's go.
Alright, so the main purpose of what my draft was at first to grab threats that I didn't want to go up against. That's Dragapult, that's Ferrothorn,
Okay.
that's what.
Taking the boost strategy.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about having to outspeed Dragapult. I don't have to worry about spikes coming down or having a Iron Barb's Rocky Helmet switch into my physical normal type attack.
Yeah.
Right, and then after that, and even sort of with some of those top tier picks, rather than look at these mons as sort of role compression, I like to think of that as having sort of roles that I can take on. Like I can make Marina way to just a dragon switch in, or I can turn, I don't know, Weezing into a Hazard Cell or a Defogger. Basically, most of my mons have one or two or even three things that they can do really, really well, and it's my opponent to guess, basically. I think this Weezing is Toxic Spikes, I need to bring something, but then it's just like an actual defensive pivot, or Defogger. Or, as you said with Slurpuff, they come in thinking, okay, I gotta bring like 2 mons to block it if it belly drums, and then they watch a Sticky Webs get sent down on them.
Yeah, definitely. You picked a lot of versatile mons. It'll be interesting to see, like, when the Primarina runs like a pivot set and when it runs like a Calm Mind set, the opponent just definitely has to take all of that into account.
Absolutely.
Alright, Simon, I wish you the best of luck this season.
Thank you. I'm looking to make some plays.
Awesome. We'll be seeing some funny plays from Simon, I'm sure of it. And last but not least, we have the commissioner of the league, Wise Guy, aka Christian, rocking the Miami Walreins. Yeah, this logo is really cool. It's a shame, it's a damn shame that he did not pick up the mascot Walrein. I am very disappointed in him for that. But otherwise, taking a look at his draft, right? We see a very standard looking draft. That's like the best I can describe it as. You have Tapu Koko. Of course, Tapu Koko, one of draft's premier Pokemon. You know, you see it all the time. It can run like Boots as a pivot with U-turn, T-Bolt, Roost, whatever. You can run Defog on this too. You can run Setup, you can run Physical, you can run Special. Overall, it just has a lot of things that it can do. But of course, the primary purpose will be to pivot around and get in his breakers. Which, speaking of his breakers, he has Hydreigon, another one of my favorite Pokemon in the format. Hydreigon is absolutely incredible, absolutely a great Pokemon. It has so many things it can do. It can run Dragon Dance, right? It can run Nasty Plot. If he wants to get a little heat with it, he can run both of them at the same time. He can run Spectacles on that boy, you know. Very, very powerful Pokemon with a very wide move pool. Definitely something that he can take advantage of. And then you add in Scizor, another pivot. I like to joke that this Pokemon only ever clicks Knockoff and U-Turn, but sometimes, you know, that's all you need it to click. You just let it serve as another pivot to bring in your strong hitters. And to back that up, he's got a Slowbro and an Amoonguss Regenerator Core. Very, very hard to break these two Pokemon. Just like Banana Man's team up above with the Pex and the Tangrowth, whenever you have Regenerator involved, you can just like switch around infinitely and not die. Super, super annoying to deal with. He also has the Donphan, which I personally was not a fan of this pick. Yeah, I was not a fan of this pick, simply because I think Donphan is an underwhelming Pokemon. On the defensive and on the offensive side, Christian can feel free to prove me wrong with this pick. Yeah, I thought he would grab something like a Nidoking. Of course, that got sniped from him, but yeah, just some more power for his draft. He elects to grab Donphan. And then, I think what really makes this draft top tier are his next couple of picks. The Infernape and the Aerodactyl. Getting them both very late into the draft. Infernape, of course, a extremely potent Pokemon with the 108 speed tier, outspeeding all of those base 100s. He can run Nasty Plot, he can run Sword Stance. I think more often it's going to be Band or Scarf. He can even run Specs. This Pokemon has a lot of things it can do. Yeah, definitely one to watch out for. And then there is Aerodactyl. If I'm being honest, at first I thought he was going to pick up a fighting type Mega, because you see the Tapu Koko, you see the Hydreigon. This first four even is like a very standard Draft League core maybe you'd see in like Gen 7 draft. And then on top of that, you toss like a Medicham. And, you know, there you have it, like your standard core. But he chooses instead the Mega Aerodactyl. Now this Pokemon I want to talk about just because it has so much to play with. Mega Aerodactyl, of course, now has Flying Stab in the form of Dual Wing Beat, as well as the Rock Stab that it's always had. You know, this is definitely hard to switch into. You have like maybe a Grass type that you want to come in on the Stone Edge, but then that gets smacked by the Dual Wing Beat, you know. This can roost up with the 150 speed. Oftentimes it's not running max speed, it can run like a lot of bulk, and even serve as a bit of a tank with a roost. And this thing even gets Dragon Dance if it wants to sweep the opposing team, you know. It's like, yeah, I've had enough, I'm clicking Dragon Dance and you are going to lose. Very, very scary Pokemon. Every team has to have like Scarfer or something that can take this on, and then they also have to deal with the rest of his Pokemon. I think this draft is definitely up there as one of the tops. Yeah, and with that being said, I guess I can go ahead and finish my ranking. Between Single Strikers and this one, I think would probably be the top draft, and I think I'm gonna have to give it to Christian. the Miami Walreins would take the first spot, and Simon's draft, you know, it's very solid, has a lot of things to work with. I would probably put this third. And yeah, I guess that does it for the rankings and the draft analysis. Is there anyone else that wants to talk about their draft?
Can you change my name? Dude, it's just my name is so boring. Give me my Discord name, dude.
That was your Discord name. That was your Discord name. All right, come on, Jesus. You wanna talk about your draft?
Oh, there's not much to say. I just wanted to have fun, so I tried to do a sandstorm team at first because I was like, yo, that sounds pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, wait, this is gonna go pretty shit, especially because I got the Mega Tyranitar. So I kind of panicked and tried to grab some what I think to be kind of like pickpocket or get a Pokemon at the end. That's about it.
I mean,
is there anything else to say?
Makes sense. Actually, I'm curious. Why did you pick Zamazenta first?
You know, I think I wondered that myself. Because actually, the pick I regret the most is Zamazenta, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't know, I realized afterwards, like, you know, this would have been way better if it was doubles, but, you know, because it was singles, it was probably a bad pick. But I was like, you know, I'm kind of stuck with it now. I'll try to make the most of it.
No, I mean, I think it's still a good Pokemon. Just like those terrifying base stats, it's like, it automatically makes the Pokemon really hard to prep for and able to do a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I'll see.
All right, I'll go ahead and change your name on the dock.
Also, what did you say about my logo? Was it bad?
Your logo? Nah, it's fire, dude.
Dude, you should have a logo ranking tier list.
Oh shit, true. The logo ranking, the most important of all. All right, yeah, time to drag on this video even more cuz I'm out of things to talk about. But yeah, the logo ranking. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Kyra's got a pretty real logo. It's very nice. I like the bug looking effects. It looks like it's using Bug Buzz or something. Yeah, very nice logo. Yeah, Boo has a shitpost logo, which, you know what? he's not the only one, so I can't really blame him. And then there is Ray's Xatu pick. I mean, it's Xatu, I guess. Yeah, Xatu's a cool Pokemon. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Sid's absolute shitpost of a yveltal drawing. You know, it may be a shitpost, but it is a high quality one. So I will give him second for that. And then there's Broken Motors. Okay, he actually has a real logo, so I'm gonna have to put him here. It's you know, it's pretty clean, yeah. Then there is Polus with the Among Us Pokeball. Hell yeah, dude. Wait, where did you even find this? Or did you make this?
I made this.
Wait, you made it? Holy crap. Okay, it's pretty clean, I would say. Yeah, I'll put it over here. And then I'm not sure why Arsha chose to put a Gengar here. Honestly, Yeah, maybe I will put this one last. And then there is the drawing, you know, very heartfelt drawing. I think it's about as heartfelt as Sid's yveltal drawing, so I will put it just below that. Alright, wrapping around here, we have Attack on Tyranitar. This one is just super clean, man. You know, you got the Tyranitar in the back, breaking down the walls, just like he will do in game, you know? Think I will give it... I don't know if I like it more than the single strikers. That one's just like... You know, it's clean, man. It's a nice logo. It's either first or second, that's for sure. Yeah, I'll put it as second for now. Then there is Crimson Flash's Squad of Shinies. This drawing is like super sick. I like it a lot. And I also like how he's called the Knights of Distortion, because it's like Giratina that's like watching over them. Super clean. I will probably give this one fourth. Yeah, fourth. And then there is the smilingkyogre. You know, the team name says it all. I'm not sure what else there is to say here. Yeah, I'll put it here. Then there is the Sinnoh SOLDIERS. This image is just frightening, but like again, all of these logos they don't even have the team name on them, so they're just like absolute shitposts. This one I will put probably over here. And then there's the Lit Wicks, of course. The Lit Wicks, I like how it's just nice and simplistic, just like the team name. But yeah, maybe a bit too simplistic. Yeah, maybe I'll put it here. And then Adrian, dude, I don't even know what this image is. It has a barcode on it, so obviously he just ripped it from somewhere. This one I will put in 12th. And Simons, we're going to kill you. I'm actually like not too sure on the story behind this.
Alright, basically, in the Pokemon TCG, there's a ludicrously busted deck called Mew VMAX because
Alright.
they designed it just to have every busted tool in the book.
Oh my gosh.
So of course, Sid and I made the ultimate Moltres box. So we're gonna kill all Mew VMAX players.
Did you actually like beat up a little kid with it?
Yeah.
That's pretty based. That's pretty based. Alright. Yeah, this one's pretty glorious. I will give it a solid 7th. And then Christian, you know, I think he gets like a default win for having like the only real logo. Yeah, so I'll just like go ahead and put him third. Alright, there you have it, the logo rankings. I'm gonna stop the recording here, and hopefully I'll have some more analyst videos throughout the season. I'll see you next time.